Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to our little chat about Vino today. Lots to talk about. Fun new things from Santa Cruz, which is exciting. Got a new store opening up this week. That doesn't happen very often. Robin's got a fun little pack to talk about, and even a little festival coming up. So should we jump into it?
Oh gosh, where should we start?
I don't know. You can start. I'm opening wine. I'm excited to see these back in stock. This is the first winery we ever went to together, wasn't it?
I know. So this week I was a little bit selfish. It was my birthday this week, so I decided that I was going to pick something that I really wanted to drink this week for our weekly feature. And Domaine Eden, we got to go and visit there. It was our very first stop in California on my first wine trip with Market Wines. So a little nostalgia there for me.
And you picked a nice one too. So we're doing the Pinot Noir, the Domaine Eden, and then this little Chardonnay, which is always, I think, one of the little sleepers in the shop that people sometimes forget about.
Yeah, I think actually this is my favorite vintage that we've had from the Edna Valley version of their Chardonnay yet. It's not as heavily oaked as it can be in the past.
Yeah.
It's a little bit brighter, a little bit fresher, a little bit leaner. I'm just always really happy with this wine.
Yeah, most of the fruit for this comes from Santa Cruz, and it comes from the actual property. So these guys it's one of the most historic wineries in California. They were the first people ever to write the word Chardonnay on a bottle of wine. The roots go back to the 1800s. What's neat about the winery is it sits actually in Santa Cruz side next to Saratoga, so you're actually overlooking Silicon Valley. So when you sit in this winery, you're in the woods, really. You're like up on this mountain. They actually didn't even pave the road until the last few years. We're chasing deer down the road. Like, you feel like you're back there.
After having driven the road, I can only imagine the difficulty of setting up that winery at the top, the construction, how they built the cellar underneath the house, right on the hilltop. It's incredible because we could barely drive it now.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, like, they must have really loved that spot, because it was not an easy spot to plant. It wasn't an easy spot to settle into, because it really would have been in the middle of nowhere. But the cool thing is you sit there and you're looking down on Silicon Valley. You can see Apple, you can see Google, but you're 2,000 feet above it, in kind of in the woods. So it's a really neat spot. It's a special place. I think one of the only places in the world that makes Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Cab on the same property equally well. A lot of people think it's one of the best wineries in California, and I'm happy to be one of those people. Yeah, I love these wines. Chardonnay is probably what they're most famous for. This is the entry level, so you can take a couple more steps up. Top end one's just around 100. This guy's $46.95, and this comes from Edna Valley, so they actually get the fruit a little further south. So this one's a little more approachable when it's young, right? It's a little easier drink, and the restaurants tend to love this one.
They do. Yeah, that's what adds that kind of softness and a little more tropical.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there for your $46. I'm going to jump into this. You'll notice it's already open because I already jumped into it, but hey, patience isn't always my number one quality. So Domaine Eden is Pinot Noir that doesn't go into the top bottling. So they only make about 300 or 400 cases of their top Pinot Noir. It's a tiny production. And then this one is everything that doesn't go in there, but it's still all estate fruit. The idea with this is it's something that's a little more approachable than the Mount Eden version, which tends to be something you want to maybe stick in the cellar for a special occasion.
And I mean, this still has enough life in it that if you do want to put it away for 5-7 years, you're certainly going to be able to do that. At $66.95, I think it's phenomenal wine. I love that the history and lineage of the actual vines really comes from France and from Louis Latour.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah, well, the Pinot Noir was from Louis Latour, right? And then the Chardonnay was from Louis Latour, and the Pinot Noir supposedly was from cuttings they took off Romanée County. So they really went to like the top to try to get the best clonal material they can. And today, actually, they have their own clone called the Mount Eden clone, which is a pretty cool story. So they actually sell this clone because it's in such a unique spot. The Pinot Noirs from Santa Cruz, there aren't very many of them, and they're very unique. This is not what you get in Sonoma. This is not what you get in Russian River. These are much more elegant wines, but they have real drive and power to them. So if you're a Burgundy lover, there's not a lot out there for $65 anymore. So
it's got this little spiciness on the nose too. This is such a beautiful wine.
I love drinking this wine. It's just so easy. It just goes down. It's not putting up a fight.
I love that when they started bottling these wines back in the 30s as well, when they first purchased the property, they were still using champagne bottles and even champagne stoppers and everything on them, which is hilarious and amazing.
Yeah, it's a great story. You went the whole Pinot route this weekend. You even got that in the pack, which I love. The high-end wine in the pack. It's awesome. Tell me about it.
All right, so we are having a Pinot party this week. So we went all things Pinot. There are 4 different Pinot Noirs, all from different areas of the world, so you can really get a lot of diversity and expression. And we've got different price points in there too, so you can really check it out. Again, the Domain Eden, if you want to put that in the basement, save it for a special occasion, maybe Tuesday.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Absolutely.
And then all the way down to Miser, which we've talked before about, little German Pinot.
Smoking good deal.
We have some Austrian Pinot in there, again, something a little more old world, a bit leaner.
Nice.
And then a brand new one from Jeff Carell as well.
Yeah, I got to taste that last week. I was really, really surprised by this. So Jeff Carell, you know him, you love him, he makes some incredible wines, but Pinot Noir is always that elusive one, right? It's tough in the south of France. We so rarely get good examples of it. And this was shockingly good. I thought it has that real like prettiness to it. It doesn't taste like baked. It doesn't taste like it was grown somewhere too hot. I was blown away. And $23.95.
Yeah.
Just come in for a bottle of that on its own if you're not doing the pack, because it's knockout good.
And since we're in the middle of a heat wave, a little Pinot Grigio as well, because we've got 2 of your favorites
Theme going?
that just came back in this week. De Leonardo, again, for a $20 Pinot Grigio. It really over-delivers. It's not that, dare I say, sort of boring style of Pinot Grigio.
Tastes
it's
like
really
something.
interesting.
Yeah, it's not like water. It's from Friuli, right, where some of the best Pinot Grigio comes from in Italy. So that's great soils, and Salig, even better.
It is a little bit farther north, up into Alto Adige, and it just has more of that like baking spice richness. It gets a little bit of lease time, which is really not usual, and some barrel aging too. Again, really not very common for Pinot Grigio, so it offers something a bit different.
Yeah, that's your high-end seats for Pinot Grigio, but definitely worth it.
All in $175 would have regular been $210, so you're saving some money.
That's a serious deal. Nice work.
Thank you.
All right, we got more to talk about. We don't have so much time, so you want to talk about the festival?
Okay, so festivals, fall tastings for both University District location and the festival style events here with us down south, September 24th, and we're going to have all kinds of things. We're moving into fall whites, a little bit richer style of white wines. We've got all those warming reds, and we're going to have cheese charcuterie, some small like fall-inspired bites to help you kind of pair with what you're going to be cooking into the fall.
Nice.
Lots of fun stuff there. And then most importantly, Friday morning, 10 a.m.
Yeah,
New store.
pop open the door on a new shop, which is exciting. So we are at the Farmers Market West. So if you're heading out of town on the west, highway number 1, you take the Beaufort exit and just kind of follow it along, and you get to the farmers market. You'll see our store right there. You can't miss it. Big door. It's beautiful. I'll be there pouring some juice. So come by, say hi, and let's taste some new wine and see the spot. It's really beautiful. So if you have time, pop by and say hi.
Lots of exciting things. Come taste these in the meantime, and we'll see you this week.
All right.